So the Damian Lillard trade saga is finally over. I think I had just kind of become resigned to the idea that he'd probably be on the Trailblazers at the start of next season. Maybe he'd get traded partway through the season, but I pretty much just thought he's going to start the season with them. And then, you know, depending on how things go, he'd probably get traded maybe a month, maybe at the trade deadline, you know. But surprisingly today, I woke up to a Woj bomb that Damian Lillard was going to the Milwaukee Bucks. And I don't think anyone expected this other than maybe Milwaukee's front office, I guess. But I guess now that I think about it, it makes a little more sense considering how Giannis has been, you know, dropping little hints about how, you know, he loves Milwaukee, but at the end of the day, he wants to win. So maybe they were a little nervous that they need to keep Giannis happy in Milwaukee. And maybe that's why this trade went through. So let's just look at the trade real quick. So Portland is getting, what are they getting? DeAndre Ayton, Jrue Holiday, Toumani Camara, who's, I believe, a rookie from the Suns, a 2029 unprotected first-round pick from Milwaukee, and an unprotected Milwaukee swap rights in 2028 and 2030. So that all goes to the Blazers. And then Pheonix, who's the third team in this trade, gets Jusuf Nurkic from Portland, Grayson Allen from Milwaukee, Nassir Little from Portland, and Keon Johnson. So that's kind of interesting for Phoenix to fill out their roster a little bit there. And then Milwaukee gets Damian Lillard, just Damian Lillard. First reaction to this trade, obviously, I kind of thought, not obviously, but I kind of thought Jrue Holiday was like one of Milwaukee's guys. I didn't think they would really be looking to trade him, but, you know, I guess if Damian Lillard's available, you know, then no one's really safe other than Giannis. Does that hurt Milwaukee's defense? Obviously, yeah. Jrue Holiday's one of the best, if not the best, perimeter defenders in the league. But yeah, they still have Giannis and Brook Lopez down low. So that's a great defense still right there. Probably the best defense Damian Lillard's ever had around him. So that'll be interesting to see. With the Suns getting rid of Ayton and getting Jusuf Nurkic back, I don't know what that really does for them. Because Jusuf Nurkic hasn't really been an effective defensive center in at least in the last 2 years. Definitely wasn't. Maybe before that he was still solid, but, you know, since that leg injury, he hasn't been quite the same. He's been hurt a lot. But man, I don't know. Maybe he can do a little something for Phoenix, you know. Grayson Allen, shooter. Maybe that'll be Phoenix's whole defense, just Grayson Allen tripping people. Nassir Little, I think he's a good role player. And Keon Johnson, I don't really know what to expect much. And then Portland, I like them getting DeAndre Ayton back. He's still pretty young. I think it's a interesting player for them. You know, what he can do on defense still kind of, it feels like he could be a good defender. It feels like he could be an easy 20 and 10 guy. He hasn't really gotten that chance in Phoenix. Maybe we'll see what he can do in Portland. He's still obviously not the number one option though, because it's probably going to be either Scoot or Simons being the number one option there. So, I mean, Jeremy Grant might get shots over him, you know. Like, why take shots out of these young guys you want to develop, like Scoot, to give him DeAndre Ayton? But also, you might want to see what you have in DeAndre Ayton, so he might get a lot of opportunity. I'm not sure. I think that's interesting. Jrue Holiday on Portland, I feel like he might get traded halfway through the season to a contender. You know, a piece for Portland to maybe get a little bit of draft capital, something like that, because I can't imagine they want to keep him on the team long term with all these young guys. I imagine not. But yeah, the real star of the trade is Milwaukee getting Damian Lillard. What does that mean for the Milwaukee Bucks? So what does this mean? Their starting lineup's probably Damian Lillard, Chris Middleton. So we got Giannis at the 4 and Brook at the 5. So who's that 3? Maybe Pat Connaughton. Maybe Pat Connaughton's starting. Bobby Portis is probably coming off the bench. You got Beauchamp coming off the bench. Who else is on the Bucks? Is Wesley Matthews still on the Bucks? Okay, yeah, here we go. Oh, Malik Beasley. Malik Beasley's on the Bucks. That's interesting. I don't think he's going to be starting, though. Big Portis. Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder's on the Bucks, I guess. Jay Crowder could be starting. Well, you know, hopefully Jay Crowder starting. Or, you know, he might throw a fit and refuse to play like he did on the Suns. Oh, yeah, they still have Robin Lopez. Okay, that's sort of interesting, I guess. But, yeah, so obviously they lose a little bit of depth. Not too much, because, like, what they really lose, Jrue Holiday, Grayson Allen. You know, at the end of the day, I think you got to give that up if you're getting Damian Lillard. You're losing a little bit on defense with Jrue Holiday, but the amount of offense you're getting back with Damian Lillard, and you now have, like, that true go-to scorer. You know, Giannis is a great scorer. He's not necessarily always great in isolation. He has his games, obviously, where he's unstoppable. But sometimes teams can kind of figure him out when he's trying to isolate too much and it doesn't really go his way. Chris Middleton's a little streaky. Jrue Holiday would have his games, obviously, but Damian Lillard is like that real guy that you can depend on to go get a basket. And it feels like the first time Milwaukee's really had that. But what does this mean for Milwaukee's playoff chances? Does it make them the favorite in the East? It might. Because like it feels like with the last two seasons, I kind of forget sometimes just how good Damian Lillard is. He's a really good player. You know, probably could be the best player on a championship team. Obviously, Giannis is the best player on this team, but Giannis and Damian Lillard, with Brook Lopez playing defense, assuming Brook Lopez isn't taking like a major step back, which, you know, he's pretty old, so it's hard to tell, but Brook Lopez, and then you got Chris Middleton still, Bobby Portis, Pat Connaughton, you know, this team's pretty dangerous. So who's their main competition? Probably the Celtics, maybe the Sixers, the Cavs. I mean, I think they could beat all those teams, you know. I think obviously the Celtics would be a tough series. They could end up losing to the Celtics, but I don't know. The Bucks might be my favorite in the East with how this is shaping up, you know. This could be interesting for the Suns, though. Got a lot of, hopefully they got a lot of quality role players, and the Suns, you know, Suns needed to fill roster spots. Nurkic is obviously going to start at center. It's a big question mark what he can do on defense. You know, I like Nurkic. Hopefully he can figure it out. But yeah, you know, Keon Johnson, sure. Nassir Little, I like Nassir Little. He might do a little bit of something. Grayson Allen will get a little bit of opportunity on the Suns. But yeah, so Suns, I don't know. Suns might still be a mess. This might make them look a little bit more like a real NBA team, I guess. Getting some more sort of legitimate NBA guys to fill out that roster. But yeah, and then Portland, this is, you know, I guess probably the best they could get. And then Jrue Holiday will probably be a trade piece for them partway through the season. But yeah, that's all I can think about. Bucks are probably now definitely the favorite to go to the finals. Although, I don't know, Boston, if the Porzingis trade works out, Boston could be scary. Boston could definitely be scary. That's a matchup I'd like to see in the Eastern Conference Finals. But yeah, let me know what you thought about the trade down below. Maybe like the video if you did. And consider subscribing. I'll see you guys later. Peace.